Welcome to today's episode, brought to you by Holy Reads, the world's first Christian book summary app. With Holy Reads, you can discover more powerful insights and summaries from over 1,000 Christian books in under 20 minutes. I'm your host, Michael, and today we're diving into a truly inspiring book, Love Does, by Bob Goff. This isn't just a book, it's a call to action. Bob Goff challenges us to step out of our comfort zones and live a life that reflects the active, adventurous, and bold nature of God's love. Through captivating personal stories and practical lessons, Goff shows how love transforms ordinary moments into extraordinary opportunities. Today, we'll expand on 10 life-changing insights from Love Does, designed to inspire you to live a life filled with purpose, courage, and joy. Bob Goff begins by emphasizing that love isn't just an emotion or idea, it's an action. Love requires doing, not just thinking or feeling. For Goff, this means being intentional about showing up in the lives of others, often in unexpected and creative ways. He shares stories of grand gestures, like flying across the country to support a friend, but also highlights smaller everyday acts of love, like sending handwritten notes or making someone smile. 1 John 3:18 encapsulates this truth. Dear children, let us not love with words or speech, but with actions and in truth. Goff's challenge is simple. Let your love speak louder than your words. Start small but be consistent, because real love shows up. One of the central themes in Love Does is the power of saying yes. Goff believes that love often begins with availability. Being willing to say yes to opportunities, even when they're inconvenient or scary, opens the door to incredible experiences and connections. He shares how he adopted this philosophy early in life and how it's led to deep friendships, meaningful adventures, and even international trips to help people in need. By saying yes to God's call and the needs of others, Goff discovered a life richer and more fulfilling than he ever imagined. Think about it. How often do we miss opportunities to love because we're too busy or afraid? Saying yes doesn't mean overcommitting. It means prioritizing love over comfort. Too often we hesitate to act in love because we're waiting for the perfect moment or worried about getting it right. Goff debunks this myth, reminding us that love is messy, unpredictable, and often imperfect, and that's okay. He shares how he's learned to embrace the chaos of love, choosing to act even when the circumstances aren't ideal. As Romans 5:8 reminds us, while we were still sinners, Christ died for us. God didn't wait for us to be perfect before showing his love, and neither should we. This insight encourages us to stop overthinking and start loving. Imperfect action is better than perfect hesitation. Love often calls us to take risks, whether it's reaching out to someone who might reject us or stepping into a situation that feels uncertain. Goff tells stories of taking bold risks for the sake of love, whether it's pursuing his dream of becoming a lawyer or embarking on a humanitarian mission. This willingness to risk reflects the sacrificial nature of Christ's love. John 15:13 declares, "Greater love has no one than this, to lay down one's life for one's friends." While most of us won't be called to literal sacrifice, we're all called to take the kind of risks that put others first. Goff's stories remind us that love isn't always safe, but it's always worth it. One of the most unique aspects of Goff's approach to love is his creativity. He doesn't just love in conventional ways. He finds whimsical, unexpected, and memorable ways to make people feel valued. For example, he once held an impromptu parade for a friend to celebrate her achievements, complete with floats and cheering crowds. This playful, imaginative approach reflects God's creativity and joy in loving his children. Psalm 104:31 celebrates this. May the glory of the Lord endure forever. May the Lord rejoice in his works. Goff encourages us to think outside the box when it comes to loving others. What unique ways can you show someone they matter? Another key lesson in Love Does is the importance of letting go of control, expectations, and outcomes. Goff shares how trying to control every detail often leads to stress and disappointment, while trusting God's plan brings peace and freedom. This principle is grounded in Scripture. Proverbs 3:5-6 advises, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways submit to him, and he will make your paths straight." By letting go, we can focus on loving others without worrying about results. Goff's stories remind us that letting go isn't giving up. It's trusting that God's way is better than ours. One of the most inspiring themes in Love Does is Goff's commitment to loving everyone, regardless of their background, beliefs, or actions. He shares stories of reaching out to people who seemed unlovable or who disagreed with him, demonstrating that love has no boundaries. Romans 12:20-21 teaches us to overcome evil with good, even when it's difficult. Goff's life exemplifies this kind of radical, unconditional love, a love that reflects God's heart for all people. This is a powerful reminder that love isn't selective, it's universal, inclusive, and transformative. Goff's stories highlight that love doesn't have to be grand to be impactful. From fixing a neighbor's fence to spending quality time with his children, he shows how small, consistent acts of kindness can make a big difference. Colossians 3:17 encourages us to do everything in the name of the Lord, turning even mundane tasks into acts of love. Goff's approach challenges us to look for opportunities to love in our daily routines, whether it's at home, work, or in our communities. At its core, Love Does is about reflecting the relentless, unconditional love of God. Goff reminds us that we can only love because God first loved us. 1 John 4:19. His stories demonstrate how experiencing God's love transforms our ability to love others. This truth invites us to draw closer to God, allowing His love to fill us so completely that it overflows into every area of our lives. Loving others becomes not just an obligation, but a joyful response to God's love for us. Goff concludes by framing love as the greatest adventure we can embark on. It's unpredictable, challenging, and full of surprises. By stepping out in faith and choosing love, we open ourselves to a life of purpose, joy, and impact. Ephesians 3:20 reminds us that God can do immeasurably more than we ask or imagine. Goff's stories prove that when we say yes to love, we discover a life richer and more meaningful than we ever dreamed. Thank you for joining us in exploring Love Does by Bob Goff. This book is a reminder that love isn't just something we feel, it's something we do. It's active, bold, creative, and transformative. This podcast was brought to you by Holy Reads, the world's first Christian book summary app. If you found this episode inspiring, download Holy Reads to discover more powerful insights and summaries from 1,000+ Christian books. Don't forget to subscribe to our podcast for more reflections and book summaries to guide your faith journey. Until next time, may your life be filled with purpose, your love be bold, and your faith lead you on the greatest adventure of all.